Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Gary Locke.
Well, thank you, everyone. I hope everyone had a really productive 1 hour in your breakout sessions. I think the consensus is that it was too short. A lot of great ideas still out on the table. I know that our panel, co-chaired with by Christina Romer, we had a really rich discussion, a lot of great ideas. Of course, I think it was generated because we offered a lot of treats, M&Ms, Snickers, drinks. Not paid for by the taxpayers, paid for some of us individually, but you have to have good food and treats in order to have lively discussion. We had a lot of great ideas. Some of the issues, recurring themes, were the need for certainty in health care, energy, tax policy. Of course, the Congress is debating that now, and the sooner they decide that, the better, and the more certainty the business community will have. Consensus that we do have a jobs emergency, and we need to focus on both public sector and private sector jobs. And there was a lot of support for a tax credit on net new jobs created. We also need stable government policies that focus on the long term and not just the short term. And we need to really focus on incentivizing demand, whether it's even COBRA benefits, extension of unemployment, et cetera. And of course, research and development, wanting long-term tax policies, incentives for research and development. These are just some of the ideas, and I'm sure that there are a lot of similar great ideas from the other panels. I don't think anyone here today has any illusions about the challenges that we face as a country. There is no silver bullet to reduce an unemployment rate that has now surpassed 10%. That figure is completely unacceptable to the President and everyone in this administration. And this gathering is an important part of an economic recovery process that began even before President Obama was sworn into office. And it will continue until every single American who wants a job has a job. We welcome any idea that can help create jobs, whether it comes from the left or the right, from business leaders, from labor, or academics and nonprofits. That's an attitude that begins at the very top with President Barack Obama. All of the President's domestic initiatives, from reforming health care and energy to expanding credit access to businesses and families, are designed to make existing businesses more competitive, more viable, creating new businesses, and ultimately putting people back to work in good-paying jobs. A few months ago at Georgetown University, President Obama promised an unrelenting, unyielding, day-by-day effort by this administration to fight for economic recovery on all fronts. And real recovery is achieved when all Americans have the dignity and security that comes from a good-paying job. That's the message that President Obama has relayed in virtually every meeting that I've attended, whether it's in the full cabinet meetings to small meetings focused on domestic policy. And today's meeting, this forum, is just another demonstration of that relentless commitment to job creation. So let's welcome back the man who convened us all and wants your thoughts and your ideas, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Please be seated. We want to make sure we get in as much discussion as possible in the remaining time that we have. I hope everybody enjoyed the breakout sessions. I had the opportunity to attend 2 of them for quite some time and enjoyed some terrific conversation and some great ideas. I heard a great deal of challenges this afternoon about the challenges that we're all facing for businesses large and small when it comes to trying to create jobs. There's no question that it is difficult out there right now, but we also heard some exciting ideas and proposals for how we can spur hiring today and lay the groundwork for sustainable economic growth in the future. In other words, ideas that help us in the short term but also point us in the direction of rebuilding the country. I attended 2 of the sessions, one on infrastructure, where there was broad agreement that the infrastructure in America is not where it needs to be, and we've got enormous investments to make. We got some good, hard-headed feedback from people like Doug Holtz-Eakin and others about how we have to do this more effectively. How can we measure the costs and benefits of infrastructure investment? How can we make sure that shovel-ready actually means shovel-ready? How can there be more effective coordination between federal, state, and local governments in order to maximize the benefits of our infrastructure spending? And there was a considerable amount of discussion about how we can leverage the private sector to boost our infrastructure spending. We also heard in the clean energy session that I just left some terrific ideas about how weatherization and energy efficiency promises immediate impacts on the ground. We can create new jobs, spur enormous amounts of business opportunities for the clean tech sector, but we're also laying the groundwork for energy independence, and we would also, as a consequence of having made those investments, set up the prospect that it would pay for itself from ultimate energy savings. Now, I will tell you that in the green energy discussion, the clean energy discussion, there was also an acknowledgement that we're not going to be able to maximize the benefits of clean energy investment unless we get settled how we're dealing with carbon and the price of carbon. We don't want to turn this into a discussion about Congress and legislation, but I think there was some consensus around the table that if we can focus on the enormous business opportunities there, that in fact America will benefit and will be able to compete in the next great round of economic growth around the world. I was not in some of the other meetings, but I've gotten a quick summary. My understanding that in the business, investment, and tax session, there were some important ideas put forward about how we can provide additional tax incentives for job growth. For example, Bill McComb, CEO of Liz Claiborne, explained the impact of the expanded business tax breaks that I signed into law a few weeks ago. Before the provisions went into effect, he was planning to close 10 stores. Now he's going to save those 10 and open an additional 25. So that's a good news story, but it's also indicative of how our tax policies can make a difference. Several participants, including Larry Mischel and Alan Blinder, proposed offering additional tax incentives for job creation. And this concept was raised in a number of the other sessions as well, so it's an idea that we think is worthy of further consideration. In the small business discussion, Joe Stiglitz, I think, presented an economic case for how credit markets can fail and deny even good borrowers credit, and put forward some specific ideas about how we can get credit moving again. All the reports that we're getting is that if you are a big corporation right now, the credit markets are working for you. If you are a small business, and in some cases a medium-sized business, even if you are profitable, that you're still seeing credit frozen. And we are going to